Okay, we got an Xbox power brick we need to take apart, take a look at. It's been sitting here a couple of days, so the capacitors should be safe. I went ahead and took a couple of these off just to speed things up, but to show you how I took them off, because it's a little bit of a trick. I took a little, basically an ice pick, and I poked it right through the middle here. It pops it off. As you'll see, these little feet look like this, and they just stick down in here. You can snap it down. So anyway, that's to take the feet off. That's the first trick. Next thing is you got these little screws in here that are a torque head, and you need a special end to take those off without tearing them up, and I'll do that here in just a sec. Okay, so the size on this is the size of this torque end is a T1 Charlie. So let's see if I can do this one-handed here. Yep, wrong way. Okay, there we go. There's the first one. Okay, I'm going to take the other three off. You don't need to watch me do that. Kind of hard to do it one-handed. Okay, got the 4 screws out. There they sit. So let's take this thing apart. Okay, so there it's apart. One thing keeping the two pieces together is this little connector, and we can take that apart. Okay, so all I did was move this little tooth back a little bit and disconnect this guy right here. Now this is all separate. Now I've already done this. I took these screws off. Boom, 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 and boom. And there's a fan in there, and I used air to clean out. The fan was dusty, so it's all nice and clean now. Pretty simple task. That's nothing tricky about that. What I'm doing here is just looking to see if I can find any burnt connections or anything, and I don't see any. This power brick was working, but we were having a little bit of trouble. We suspect it was it, so I wanted to take a look and see if there was something in here that caused the problem. And upon inspection, I'm not quite seeing it, but I'll look a little more. Okay, I wasn't going to do it, but I went ahead and did. This little piece that was right here, I took it off just to see what was underneath it. There's really nothing there. This is just looks like a dead space to allow air to circulate. I guess it comes in through these vents on the side and gets circulated through the box. So other than cleaning it out with a little bit of dust, there's really nothing to do in here. So we'll put this back together. Okay, so just to show you, all I did was remove these screws here. Now put them back. Again, this is a little hard to do one-handed. And you know, if I'm going this far, I might as well show you guys. I'll take these apart and show you the fan in there. Just going to use a little screwdriver here and loosen all of these. I'll come back to you once I get these all off. Okay, got the 4 screws out. Let's see if I can get this thing off here. Well, darn it, I need 2 hands. Okay, so here we go. You can see here's the fan. I've already had it out and cleaned it. Just used some air to blow through here all around the sides. It was pretty dusty, but it's good now. Fits right in there. And they'll fit right back in here. Okay, everything's back together. Oh, one other thing I want to recommend is a little tool like this is super handy for testing current. I'm going to test the power going in, try to see if I can get some testing the power coming out, and just show you what I'm trying here. Okay, so I've plugged the business end of this into the wall. Now I'll just verify the cable's good. See, I've done this, and it's good. We should get, there we go, orange light. So the cable's looking good. Okay, got them all hooked up here. I have the power off. Just to show you, I'm going to come across these 2 posts, and there's no light. Okay, I've turned the power on. So this tells me at least the power's getting into here. Pretty simple stuff. We can also see that now this light, this is what tells you the box has power when it's all closed up. So that little light there goes through this little piece of plastic, acrylic, and lights it up from the outside. So I've looked it over closely, and I just don't find anything burnt. Nothing looks bad in here. Everything really looks pretty good. I tested a few of the spots across here with the current tester, and everything I tested looked good. So I'm going to go ahead and button it back up, and I'll run some tests on this end here. So just a quick reminder, let's see, I can do this. You got to hook the fan back in. This will be the fan power. Sorry about the camera work, but make sure the power's turned off. Okay, there we go. So now I can just flip this over, hook it back up. Okay, took it, flipped it over, connected it, snapped it back together. Now it's just a matter of putting the screws back in. Let me take a shot at doing this one-handed. Really should buckle this thing down. Okay, I'm sure pros have got something better than this, but I just took a little clamp and clamped this down. Hopefully keep it from bouncing around so much when I put it back together here. Nothing's as good as the hands here. Okay, got them all buttoned up here. So let's put some of these feet back on. Okay, so the final thing I want to test is this guy here. This is a little tricky. Got these pins for the power in here. So I talked to somebody who knows a little bit more about electricity than me, and they told me how they would test this. So I'm going to take a shot at it. I'll show you what I set up. Made a little connector pin that I can make sure I got the power off. I'm going to put this connector pin in this little hole here. Okay, so now you can see I've got this little pin connected to, wrapped around that pin inside there. Here's another one just to show you what they look like. Took a little piece of wire, bent it into this shape right here. And now I can connect to it. Let me hook it up and you'll see it. Okay, so I connected to a voltmeter. I've got this black grounded to one side, and I got the positive to this pin as I showed you. And now I'm going to put some power on it. Okay, and I get right at 5 volts out of it. If I'm reading this right, on the back of this guy, it says it should put out 5 volts. Okay, so I'm no pro electrician, and any pro probably has some comments they can add here. But at least it looks like there is some power getting to this pin, and maybe this brick is still good. I really just don't know. I don't have an Xbox I can test it on. Anyway, there's just a quick little piece of advice, or how to take it apart, check it out. For what that's worth. Good luck.